In the world of organized crime, there's an ongoing debate about whether snitches are born or made. It is my belief that both can be true. Yeah, there are people who will rat you out over nothing and are completely unwilling to spend even a day incarcerated. But there are also some solid individuals willing to do long prison terms who turn against their partners for various reasons. In these circumstances, it can be said that some snitches are more so made than born. But this also follows from my belief that respect trumps loyalty in life, especially in the life of crime. If someone is outright disrespectful to you repeatedly, I can understand why you would want to throw them under the bus right away. In this video, I'll share an anecdote about how the disrespectful greed of a legendary Chicago mobster made one of his loyal associates turn on him and run to the police to spill the beans. So I was recently reading a book about crime and cops based in Chicago. Although the book was published in the 90s, the information in it is still relevant today. One of the chapters in the book is about the Chicago mob, also known as the Chicago Outfit. Among the things it discusses are popular rackets, famous hits, and, for the purpose of this video, how informants are developed. One of the mobsters mentioned in the chapter is a man named Marshall Caifano. Caifano was both a gangster and a racketeer, a strong earner who is known for doing a bunch of hits. Guys like him are like the unicorns of the underworld. Caifano was even reputed to be the outfit's main man in Las Vegas for some time, ensuring that billions of dollars were skimmed from various casinos during his tenure. But despite all his wealth, Caifano was allegedly greedy as hell. In the chapter, it was said that there was lots of bitterness among the mobsters affiliated with the Chicago Outfit. The higher-ups were greedy and rotten. They took most of the money and left their subordinates with little to fend for themselves. One Chicago police officer said of the situation, "We want the bosses to be greedy and take all the money because that's the only way you develop informants." The officer then told this brief story about Caifano and someone who informed on him. The officer said a muscle guy who he knew was sitting down at a table with Caifano and two other men. Caifano was a street boss at the time in Chicago. Caifano said there was a guy in New York who owed $10,000, but he couldn't get the money from him. And both of Caifano's friends said they were currently too busy with their own rackets to collect the debt. So Caifano says to the informant-to-be, "Well, you go get it then." The future informant, being a loyal guy at the time, dutifully followed the orders from Mr. Caifano. He bought a plane ticket to New York on his own dime and arrived at the address of the debtor. When he arrived, a lady directed him to the target. She obviously had no idea what was about to go down. So the goon goes straight to the guy, knocks him down, drags him into his office, and says something to the effect of, "Give me the 10 grand that you owe, Marsh, or I'm going to end you right here in the office." So the victim opened up a safe that he kept in his office, and conveniently, he found the $10,000 for Caifano. The goon walked out with the money, got on an airplane, returned to Chicago, and delivered the money directly to Caifano. At this point, you would think that Caifano would have given the snitch-to-be a split of the bounty. But you would be wrong. Apparently, Caifano ain't that type of dude. He just decided to keep all the money, every last dollar. He didn't even reimburse his goon for his plane ticket to and from Chicago or any of his other travel expenses. So, feeling completely dissed, the goon went straight to the cops and told them everything he knew about Marshall Caifano. And the reason for telling, according to the cop, was that he was mad Caifano didn't pay him for his debt collection services. Telling on Caifano provided him with zero benefit outside of just being spiteful. Based on this story, Caifano really sounds like a dick, and it also makes you wonder how he managed to last and thrive as long as he did in the underworld. In the book, the identity of the informant is not revealed, nor are the exact details of what he said. And for what it's worth, Caifano would later go to jail for other crimes, so it's not even known how useful the informant's information really was to law enforcement. My point is that a lot of mobsters create enemies for dumb reasons. They seem to think that people will continue to be loyal despite blatant disrespect. So, what do you think of this story? Does it sound believable? And do you think it's justified to betray your partners in these kinds of scenarios?